So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the turkey from the packaging, and I'm gonna rinse out the turkey in cold water to get any excessive fluid that's in here out as well. So cut the packaging open. So for the pound of turkey that I have between 18 and 22 pounds. And it tells you how many people it feeds, 12 to 15. I definitely don't have that many people in this house. There's only 4 of us right now. And you put it in the refrigerator to thaw out 4 to 5 days. I've been doing that. And then it hasn't been in cold water. It's just been sitting in the packaging like that in a shallow pan. And then this is gonna roast for 3.5 to 4 hours in a shallow pan, not too shallow, and it's gonna go at 325 degrees in the oven. So now we're gonna get this bird out of the packaging. And now I'm going to rinse out the turkey and take out any of the extra giblets that it brings. I'm rinsing it in cold water. In the cavity, we find the neck bone. I'm rinsing everything out. Putting it in the roasting pan that I'm going to use. Up here, we're going to find the rest of the giblets. I'll deal with that later. Right now I just want to rinse this bird. Now to clean my bird, you want to try to get some of the bacteria out. I believe that white vinegar helps out with that. So I'm just gonna drizzle some all over. This is gonna be like my soap, the white vinegar. So rinse it out. Pour some in the cavity. Pour some around the neck area. And always remember to do this in a clean sink. Clean, sanitized sink. And I'm only doing this, rub it on. I'm gonna rinse it off again. I just wanna get any excessive liquid out. Yes, this bird is heavy. Now while I'm here, I'm gonna separate the skin from the breast. We wanna keep the breast intact because we're gonna season under this skin. So you're pulling up the shirt or the dress or the bib, as you want to call it, from the skin. So you want to get as much as you can out, and you're going to continue to do that until you remove as much as you can. So this is what you want to expand or let out. Right now the skin is still going to go over. I'm just letting it out. I accidentally ripped it a little bit here, but that's okay. And then we're gonna work on seasoning this. So now that we have this out, I'm gonna rinse my bird to get all that vinegar out, because we don't want the bird to have any vinegar taste. And this is gonna go right into my roasting pan. We're gonna let it sit here. We're gonna prepare the seasoning that's gonna go to this bird now. I am prepping this up with Sofrito store-bought, but this Sofrito is just as close as making it homemade. If you can find this, go get it from your local store in the freezer section where they have the Spanish items. Trust me, it's just like the one you make at home. So I'm adding 1 cup of sofrito. You're gonna add 3 tablespoons of adobo. 1 tablespoon of onion powder. 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. Half a teaspoon of black pepper. 1 packet of SAZÓN with no achiote. This is more for seasoning. And I love fresh garlic, so 1 tablespoon of my homemade garlic. A packet of the chicken bouillon. I'm adding this with 1 cup of water. I'm gonna stir. And I cut off my stove while I've been doing this because it started to simmer. So as soon as I seen it simmer, I had turned off the stove. Now I'm going to cut my stove back on. And I'm going to add the broth, the chicken broth. If you prefer water, you can do it with water. I prefer doing it with the chicken broth. And this is gonna simmer until it starts to thick up. Gradually adding oregano to my preference. This is 1 tablespoon. I'm gonna add a 2nd tablespoon and mix well. This mixture comes to a slow, rapid simmer. I'm going to pre-season my turkey with a little bit of adobo, just a tad bit, because this has adobo. Now I'm going to add 1 pack of the SAZÓN for color. Now while my mixture, the rub that I'm gonna add to the turkey is mixing, boiling, I'm gonna turn on the heat, let it come to a slow simmer so it can thicken up, and then I'm gonna let it cool down so I can add it to it. But in the meantime, I'm adding a slight bit of adobo. The back of the turkey I pre-slit just because I want flavors going in there and I couldn't pull the skin, so slightly add some adobo. Do the same thing to the other side, and you also want to make sure you get the inside of the bird up here. This bird is so heavy, but make sure you get this part, and if you have to, lift it up some, rub it in there. I'm gonna get it more when I season it with my rub. Then bring this up, take that and just throw some adobo in there to the cavity. Don't be afraid, it's gonna go all in there, it's gonna blend in well. And I'm gonna leave it this side down because I'm gonna start rubbing it, massaging it on this side. You can make sure you get these drumsticks while it's upside down like this. And that's it. I'm not gonna add no more seasoning, and then I'm gonna flip it over. I got my rub thickened enough. It's not too watery and not too thick. That's fine because it's gonna all settle, and the oregano, it's gonna soak most of that up in there. I'm gonna put this in the bowl, and you can either let it sit out and let it cool off, Me, I'm trying to go the faster route. So I'm just gonna take it and I'm gonna put it in a bowl and put it in the freezer and let it sit in there for about 20 minutes to let it cool off. And as long as it's cold enough to put on the turkey, it'll be safe. And then I can go ahead and rub this into the turkey. So now that our mixture is nice and cold, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna rub this in here. I ran out of gloves, so I'll be doing it with my bare hands. So I'm gonna use it all. Take the skin, peel it back, and I'm gonna work my way in the canal. I'm gonna cover this in aluminum foil.